Hi, everyone. Good morning. This is Nancy. Thank you so much for joining me today as we wrap up the book of Numbers. Let's go ahead and get right into the Word of God. I'm going to attempt to wrap up the book of Numbers. Hopefully, I will get to everything and complete my notes for the day. I'm actually going to start today with the psalm, just as I did when we met Thursday. The psalm that I selected today was or is Psalms 109. And I wanted to look at verse 4. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 1. I'm not sure if I'm going to read the entire chapter. I may. We'll see. It is a little lengthy. It's got 30 verses. So let's get started. This psalm is written by King David, and it says to the chief musician, a psalm of David. Um, what I'm looking at, I wanted to see if this was a reference Bible or not. It does not look like it's a reference Bible, but some of the Bibles, it tells you who the author is of each chapter of Psalms, and that's how I already knew there was more than one author, but that's one way you can tell per chapter who wrote the chapters by looking above or right below the chapter number. And it reads, Hold not thy peace, O God of my praise, for the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are open against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. They compassed me about also with the words of hatred and fought against me without a cause. Verse 4 For my love, they are my adversaries, but I give myself unto prayer. So, another word for adversaries, or that's what the kids say today. That's my ops, or enemies in this case. And they rewarded me evil for good and turn and hatred for my love. And so we see here that King David, he really didn't do anything to obtain all these enemies other than obey God. King David was a shepherd. He had no ambition to be king one day. He knew that he could take Goliath out, but he did that in God's hands. There were some angels behind those stones. That wasn't just in King David's power as a child. All his brothers were much bigger and mightier than he was, but they weren't willing to take on the giant Goliath. He can be seen kind of as well. He is a symbol of Israel. That's why we several Jews during the Holocaust and even before them they wear the Star of David necklace. So he is kind of, when we talked about foreshadowing, we can see this in Psalms how King David foreshadows the nation of Israel. Verse 6 Set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand. So, in several of these Psalms written by David, we know that David was a king or a man of war. He talked about both spiritual warfare and natural warfare. And several of these Psalms are prayers where he's petitioning to God either to help him while he's in trouble, get him out of trouble. And then some of the Psalms are Psalms of repentance. There is one Psalm, and I have to get you the chapter, where he is repenting for his adulterous relationship with Bathsheba, and I believe that's Psalms 84. But just one second, let me get you the Psalms. The Psalm, and once he repents for that affair and murder of her husband, he just gets up, he washes his face, and he realizes that he has to move on with his life. So I'm looking that up for you right now. Just give me one moment to do that. Psalms 51. That is in Psalm 51 if you want to go and check out that psalm as well. So in this case, part of the prayer was God save me from my enemies. I haven't done anything for them to be my enemies. And then the other part, the majority of the prayer is this is what I want you to do to protect me from my enemies. And so that starts with verse 6, set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand. When he shall be judged, let him be condemned, and let his prayer become sin. Let his days be few, and let another take his office. Let his children be fatherless, and his wife a widow. Let his children be continually vagabonds and beg. Let them seek their bread also out of their desolate places. Let the extortioner catch all that he have, and let the stranger spoil his labor. Let there be none to extend mercy unto him, neither let there be uh, any to favor his fatherless children. Let his posterity be cut off, and in the generation following, let their name be blotted out. Let the iniquity of their fathers be remembered with with the Lord, and let not the sin of his mother be blotted out. Let them be before the Lord continually, that he may cut off the memory of them from the earth. Because that he remembereth not to show mercy, but persecuted the poor and needy man, that he might even slay the broken in heart. And as he loved cursing, so let it come unto him. As he delighted not in blessing, so let it be far from him. As he clothed himself with cursing, like as his garment, so let it come into his bowels like water, and like oil into his bones. Let it be unto him as a garment which covereth him, and for a girdle wherewith he girdeth continually. Let this be the reward of mine adversaries from the Lord, and of them that speak evil against my soul. But do thou for me, O God, the Lord, for thy name's sake, because thy mercy is good, and deliver thou me. For I am poor and needy, and my heart is wounded within me. I am gone like the shadow when it declines. I am tossed up and down as a locust. My knees are weak through fasting, and my flesh faileth of fatness. I became also a reproach unto them. When they looked upon me, they shake their heads. Help me, O my Lord, O save me according to thy mercy, that they may know that this is thy hand, that thou, Lord, hast done it. Let them curse, but bless thou. When that they arise, let them be ashamed, but let thy servant rejoice. Let mine adversaries be clothed with shame, and let them cover themselves with their own confusion as with a mantle. I will greatly praise the Lord with my mouth. Yea, I will praise him among the multitude. For he shall stand at the right hand of the poor to save him from those that condemn his soul. So those are kind of pretty harsh judgments coming from King David. King David was in fear of losing his life before he took the throne. Many of these psalms are written for or during King David's wilderness experience. So after the prophet Nathan, he prophesied over King David that he would be the future king of Israel. King David had to wait once King David, or just David, the shepherd David, killed Goliath. He waited about 17 years before he actually took the throne. So he killed Goliath as a teenager, and he was in his early 30s by the time he became King David. And he spent most of that time during his wilderness experience um, in the wilderness, running away from his enemies, defending himself, basically fighting for his life, because several people did not want him to ever become king, and they were trying to make sure that prophecy did not come to pass, including King Saul, who, after King Saul, as a reward for killing Goliath, that was part of his reward, that he would become future king of Israel. He married his daughter, just like we saw with Pharaoh and their treatment, his treatment towards the children of Israel. King David was in a similar predicament. King Saul, at some point, I guess, changed his mind, decided he did not want to give King David Michael or Michelle, depending on how you want to pronounce that word, Michal, and decided that instead he wanted to take David's life. And so David continued to honor King Saul, not only as a king, but also as his future son-in-law. And we all know the story that King David does eventually become king over all of Israel. Okay, so now with me saying all that, let's go back and turn to Numbers. I'm going to attempt to wrap up Numbers today. And I'm going to go back to that outline that I had gone over when I believe I was on Numbers chapter 4. And this I received from ivpbooks.com/blog key themes and numbers. So I ended on Thursday with Numbers 14. Numbers 15 through 25 discuss the wilderness years for the children of Israel. And then towards 3/4 of the book, we get to the new generation in Numbers. So I'm going to skip through that wilderness experience. I will say that Moses' sister Miriam dies, and does Aaron die? And Aaron, she dies in. They actually both die in chapter 20 of Numbers. Um, and that kind of just shows me that a lot of times when God gives you direction or where he wants you to go in life, that some people fall off along the journey, but these are directions that God gave you, not necessarily to the people. Even if he assigned them to you, they may not make it to the promised land with you. So the goal is, when we have someone who moves on before we do, that we continue on our journey, that we don't just, cow down and quit because somebody who was with us, maybe even from the beginning, left us. When God gives us an assignment, that's between that person and God, and we still have to pursue that assignment all the way to the end. So then we get to the new generation. That's for the last 10 chapters of Numbers, from Numbers 26 through chapter 36. And I did some research early this morning of how long this journey was supposed to take. Originally, I believe I told you all 5 to 7 days. Some of the research that I worked on this morning stated it should have been an 11-day journey. So anywhere between 7 to 11 days, no more than 2 weeks. Let's just say that. And when God sent the 12 spies to spy out the land of Canaan, we only had 2 spies that came back. There was 1 spy for every tribe. Only 2 of those spies came back with a positive report, and those were Caleb and Joshua. So those are the only 2 out of that generation that made it to the promised land. I believe Joshua was 80 by the time he made it to the promised land. And Moses and all of his generation, other than Joshua and Caleb, they passed away in the wilderness. Just as God said, for every year of their 40-day journey spying out the land of Canaan, they have 1 year of judgment. So that generation was in the wilderness for 40 years, and this is the new generation that was able to make it into the promised land. So we are going to pick up with Numbers 27, and I am going to read starting at verse 12 to the end of the chapter. And it says, "And the Lord said unto Moses, Get thee up into this Mount Abarim, and see the land which I have given you unto the children of Israel. And when thou hast sent it, thou also shalt be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron my brother was gathered. For ye rebelled against my commandment in the desert of Zin, in the strife of the congregation, to sanctify me at the water before their eyes, that is the water of Meribeth in Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin. And Moses spake unto the Lord, saying, Let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation, which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord be not as sheep, which have no shepherd. So once again, when we talked about names of Jesus in Messianic prophecy, we know that one of the names of Jesus was the Great Shepherd in the New Testament, and several of his of the patriarch and of the men of God that he chose in the Old Testament were shepherds. Well, shepherds were seen as a reproach to in the world system and to let's see, Egyptians. They did not want to have any type of fellowship with shepherds. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were all shepherds. Moses, after he left Pharaoh's house as his adopted son or uncle, he despised shepherds. Moses became a shepherd. King David was also a shepherd. So several of God's leading men, they were shepherds in the Bible. Okay, let's pick up at verse 18. And the Lord said unto Moses, take thee Joshua the son of Nun, a man in whom is the Spirit. This is referring to someone having the Holy Spirit, and lay thine hand upon him. Or you could say the Spirit of God. Verse 19, and set him before Eleazar, the priest, and before all the congregation, and give him a charge in their spirit. And thou shalt put some of thine honor upon him, and all the congregation of the children of Israel may be obedient, that all the congregation of the children of Israel may be obedient. And he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall ask counsel for him after the judgment of Urim before the Lord. At his word shall they go out, and at his word they shall come in, both he and all the children of Israel, with him even all the congregation. And Moses did as the Lord commanded him. And he took Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation. And he laid his hands upon him and gave him a charge, as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses. And then, so this is like a tabernacle ceremony. They go into the offerings. So there's a lot of like pomp and circumstance here. And it's very celebratory, and they talk about meat offerings and drink offerings. Well, we actually went through and read a lot of that about that in the book of in the first part or half of Numbers. So I'm going to bypass chapter 28. Actually, I'm going to bypass the next few chapters, and I'm going to skip to, I'll let you all read chapters 28 through 32 on your own. I'm going to pick up at Numbers 33 and start reading at verse 50. And just to give some little background knowledge, I like chapter 33 because it chronicles the entire journey that the children of Israel took in Numbers. So for the 40 years. So it says, I'll just look at verse 1. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt with their armies unto the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the commandment of the Lord. And these are the journeys according to their goings out. And then he goes into depth, starting at verse 3, of all the journeys and places that they had to go and travel from. Remember, they basically were like you call in those days, they call them nomads. They had no real land. They just moved from city to city in tents. So their housing was pretty temporal until they got to the promised land, the land of Canaan. And so it says in Numbers 33, I'll pick up at verse 50. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when ye are passed over Jordan into the land of Canaan, that ye shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land before you, and destroy all their nations, and destroy all their molten images, and quite pluck down all their high places. And ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land and dwell therein, for I have given you the land to possess it. And ye shall divide the land by lot for an inheritance among your families. And to the more you shall give the more inheritance, and to the fewer you shall give the less inheritance. Every man's inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falleth. According to the tribes of your fathers ye shall inherit. But if you will not drive out the inhabitants of the land before you, then it shall come to pass that those which ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein you dwell. Moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them. Okay, so now I'm going to read chapter 34, the entire chapter. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel, and say unto them, When you come into the land of Canaan, this is the land that shall fall unto you for an inheritance, even the land of Canaan with the coast thereof. Then your south quarter shall be from the wilderness of Zin along the coast of Edom, and your south border shall be the outmost coast of the salt sea eastward, and your border shall turn from the south to the ascent of Akrabim, and pass on to Zim, and the going forth thereof shall be from the south to Kadesh Barnea, and shall go to Hazar Adair, and pass on to Asmon. And the border shall fetch a compass from Asmon unto the river of Egypt, and goings out of it shall be at the sea. And as the western border, ye shall even have the great sea for a border. This shall be your west border, and this shall be your north border from the great sea. You shall point out for you Mount Hor. From Mount Hor you shall point out your border unto the entrance of Hamath, and the goings forth of the border shall be to Zedid. And the border shall go on to Ziphron, and the goings out it shall be as Hazaranan. This shall be your north border, and you shall point out your east border from Hazaranan to Shapam, and the coast shall go down from Shapam to Riblah on the east side of Ain, and the border from uh, and the border shall descend and shall reach unto the side of the sea of Shenethrith eastward, and the border shall go down to Jordan, and the goings out of it shall be at the sea salt. This shall be your land with the coast thereof round about. And Moses commanded the children of Israel, saying, This is the land which ye shall inherit by lot, which the Lord commanded to give unto the 9 tribes, and to the half tribe. So here we see that God gives Moses specific instructions on the perimeters of the territory of Israel. And we know even today that one part, I believe, the west side of Israel is on a coast. So several of these borders are still in place even today. For the tribe of the children of Reuben, according to the house of their fathers, and the tribe of the children of Gad, according to the house of their fathers, have received their inheritance, and half the tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance. The 2 tribes and the half tribe have received their inheritance on this side, Jordan near Jericho, eastward toward the sun rising. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, These are the names of the men which shall divide the land unto you: Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun. And ye shall take one prince of every tribe to divide the land by inheritance. So when they say a prince of the tribe, these are from the 12 tribes of Israel. The original sons, Jacob was not a king, but the original sons became princes. So they said every son became a prince over his own tribe. Verse 19, and the names of the men are these of the tribes of Judah: Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, and of the tribe of the children of Simeon, Shemuel, the son of Amihud, and of the tribe of Benjamin, Elidad, the son of Chislon, and of the prince of the tribe of the children of Dan, Bukai, the son of Jogli. Forgive me if I pronounce any of these Hebrew names incorrectly. The prince of the children of Joseph for the tribe of the children of Manasseh, Haniel, and the son of Ephod, and the prince of the tribe of the children of Ephraim, Kemuel, and the son of Shiptin. And of the princes of the children of Zubalim, Elizaphan, and the son of Parnak, or Parnak, and the of the prince of the tribe of the children of Issachar, Palatiel, the son of Azan, and of the prince of the tribe of the children of Asher, Ahihud, the son of Shilomi, or Shilomai, and of the prince of the tribe of the children of Naphtali, Pedahel, the son of Amihud. These are they whom the Lord commanded to divide the inheritance unto the children of Israel in the land of, or Jacob. Remember that Jacob's name was changed to Israel, in the land of Canaan. And so some of Jacob's sons and tribes were mentioned more than others. So I'm more familiar with the more well-known tribes. Some of the tribes, it seems like they're only mentioned one time in the Bible, so I have to learn those pronunciations. I actually want to learn Hebrew. I've never been to Israel. Now I really want to go. I hope to go to Israel one day. My church has had several tours in Israel. I just haven't made it yet, but I'm going to make it to the promised land one day. That's on my bucket list. Okay, let's pick up at Numbers chapter 35. And I'm just going to read verses 1 through 8. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, command the children of Israel that they give unto the Levites of the inheritance of their possessions cities to dwell in, and ye shall give also unto the Levites suburbs for the cities round about them. So the Levites came from the city of Levi, or from the tribe of Levi. And a lot of times they would name a city and then they would just say ites at the end to say these are people who originated from this tribe or from this city. Verse 3, and the cities shall have to dwell in, and the suburbs of them shall be for their cattle and for their goods and for all their beasts. Verse 4, and the suburbs of the cities which ye shall give unto the Levites shall reach out from the wall of the city and outward 1,000 cubits round about. And you shall measure from without the city of the east side 2,000 cubits, and on the south side 2,000 cubits, and on the west side 2,000 cubits, and on the north side 2,000 cubits, and the city shall be in the midst. This shall be to them the suburbs of the cities. So they had built walls to separate the cities. Verse 6, and among the cities which you shall give unto the Levites, there shall be 6 cities for refuge, which you shall appoint for the manslayer, that he may flee thither, and to them you shall add 42 cities. So all the cities which you shall give to the Levites shall be 48 cities. Them shall ye give with their suburbs. And so from there, I won't finish chapter 35. You all can finish it on your own, but they started to assign different territories per tribe. And then we end Numbers 36 with weddings. Of course, you got to have a happy ending, right? It's got to be like a fairy tale ending. So back in chapter 27, I believe, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. One of these, is it? I'm at 26. Just give me a second. Um, one of the tribes, their father died, it says, because of their own sins. And I believe this is pronounced daughters of Zephlophehad. Like I said, Zephlophehad. I definitely intended to look that up. I did not do that. I should have. So I have to give myself a slap on the wrist. Their father died in the wilderness, and they said, well, just because our father had no sons, so because our father had no sons, does that mean we don't get his inheritance? They brought the issue up to Moses because I've said before, in the Old Testament is a very patriarchal society. And so they had an issue if there was no son in the family. So when they brought the issue up to Moses, Moses, which is what most leaders, all leaders, frankly, should do, he brought the case up before the Lord. And this is what God told him. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, the daughters of Zelophehad speak right. Thou shalt surely give them a possession of an inheritance among their father's brethren, and thou shalt cause the inheritance of their father to pass unto them. So sometimes Moses had to even deal with legal issues that showed up while he was leading the Egyptians out. Oh my goodness, excuse me, the Jews out of from the wilderness to the promised land. And then fast forward to chapter 36, we see that God gave specific instructions on who they were to marry. And he said that they were to marry someone in their actual tribe. In fact, it says in verse 11 that they could marry men from their unto their fathers, brothers, sons. So those would be like fathers, brothers, that be their uncle, their sons, so that they're hopefully distant cousins. Well, it was a lot more common for inter-family marriages to happen during that time. Now we kind of, society kind of looks down on that. But remember that Sarah was, or Sarai, or Sarah, depending on what time of frame you're talking about, she was actually Abraham's half sister. So it was allowed in the Old Testament. So they married into their own family, and God had given them those instructions because He said that the tribe, or the inheritance that received that tribe, the tribe that received that inheritance, that those inheritances and possessions and wealth was supposed to stay within that tribe. So that is the reason why God permitted that and allowed that. So that's all that I have for you all today. Next week, we will start the book of Deuteronomy. Hopefully, you found numbers interesting. I was a little challenged with numbers, just like with Revelation, because I mean, when looking at it at first glance, there was not a whole lot I thought for me to talk about, but the Psalms helped out a lot. And, of course, I'm going to pray and ask God what he wants me to share with the people of God and whoever's listening on the podcast. And I have one person on right now. So a lot of times people look at the replays and don't necessarily watch me live. So either way is fine. So to that one person, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward for you all joining me for another podcast on Tuesday. I should have guests next Tuesday. We'll just have to see how that goes. And I hope that everyone has a blessed Sabbath, whether you worship on Saturday or Sunday. And also remember that every day is a Sabbath. Everybody have a blessed day. Until next time, bye-bye.